Welcome back to the RL, you guys.
Welcome back.
Yes. I'm your co-host, Liv.
And I'm your co-host, Rachel. And today's episode is sponsored by our own personal funding. So just thought I'd throw that out there.
So, subscribe, follow, like. Thanks for all the support always.
We love it. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I think I'm doing good, too.
Yeah.
I just keep referring to like springtime, but I really do. The more people I talk to and like the more friends I connect with recently, I'm like, ooh, there's definitely like a shift. Like there's definitely like a new chapter rolling.
The sun is out so much longer. It was like 7 p.m. last night, and you know how early we'll get in bed? Not 7 p.m. But like I was literally like, we could go take our dog for a walk. Like
someone asked me recently like what time you guys go to bed.
That's hilarious.
Because I was like, no, they're the type that get up and cold plunge
and then
who
go to
was I
bed
talking
early.
to? That's so funny. Yeah, and they're like, wait, so what time do they go to bed? I'm like, I don't know, probably like 8 or 9.
No, literally, I heard it here first, folks. Well, we lately actually have been staying up a little later, but I do think that that's because of the summer.
Yeah.
So like it's been more like 10 these days, so that's more normal. But it had been 9 all winter.
Yeah.
All winter, yeah, for sure.
Well, you gave me a book that I'm pretty sure I'm more than halfway through already. Well, I'm like at that point. Yeah, I do. I'm kind of obsessed with it. But you made it seem like nothing happened until like the very end. So I was like anticipating to like just keep trying, just keep reading until you get to the point. But no, like the first couple chapters, I'm like,
guys, this is the infamous these days ACOTAR series, the A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Yeah.
That's what I gave to Rachel to start. And because for me it was a slow start, because you know why? Because I didn't sit down and like read it. So it probably I spent like 2 months reading it, so it was a slow burn for me.
Yeah.
So with the second book, I am tearing through it.
There's like 5 books.
I'm so excited about the second book's like 1,000,000 pages.
No, but
like,
I'm excited.
Over 400
it is.
pages.
I mean, it's like I never knew books could be like this. Like when you're younger, when you're like starting to read, like you don't realize that it's like a reality TV show in a book.
I feel like I'm like it's decompressing now. Like I feel like I had put on my favorite like TV show or like movie. Yes. Like I'm just obsessed. In the zone.
I'm like any free time I get, I'm like reading this thing to the point where I'm like, okay, like I need to have like limits and boundaries because otherwise you're consuming my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also though, the characters' names bother me a little bit. Do they bother you? Because they're all weird to pronounce. If you haven't read the series, they're weird names.
It would if the setting were like normal human life, but like because it's not, it's like
fantasy land.
Yeah, which fuck, like I would never read a book about fairies. And
no, I know when it started about fairies, I was literally like, oh my god, like I was judging everyone who's read this book, and I'm like, I can't wait to read the whole series.
Luke's like, have you gotten to like the fairy sex part yet? I'm like, okay, well first of all, it's not like little fairies and like, oh my god.
No, yeah, they're like
it's not like
supernatural
Cinderella
beings.
Yeah.
But also, I totally thought it was gonna be a way smuttier book because everyone was like, oh my god, like ACOTAR, like smut, like all the girls like love it, and especially the first book is not like that. I think the other ball to drop.
Probably compared to like, what did you say, Cadence? Is that the book that was?
Oh, Credence, and that
Credence.
Is so dirty.
I should read that next, just because it's
I
like
actually
fun.
brought it
it's
in
like,
my car.
It's just funny, like you see those memes of like moms like out with their kids and their kids are playing, and we're over here just reading our.
We become those people. No, literally, like your book porn. Like I was so shocked with what people can do with a book. I just didn't know that was out there.
Okay, so then my next thing that I need to try is like the audio book of it, or like whatever Mel Robbins was talking about, where
I don't know.
I sent you this video and she was saying it's like an audio version of it, but it's basically like a movie. So like they have
I need to see this.
They have like sound effects, they have like if something's happening, like the actors,
there's a lot of like, action in the second book especially,
and it sounds like you're actually there. So she's like, I'm like washing the dishes and I'm in Prithian and like there's a war going on, or like or it's like it's just random, but I'm just like, that would be really cool. And I don't know what's work. Like I don't know if I'd prefer to listen to it with like full visual effects or audio effects, or if I'd prefer to sit and read. But I'm not like a fast reader. Like I'm like
okay, but I personally like love like losing myself in my mind to it, like and reading. I don't know, but there's sound effects. That sounds cool.
Yeah, I might have to just try it just to see, because then it's like, okay, I can do stuff around the house. But
Okay, well, I'm excited that you like it and that you're into it.
I really am. And I know like we're late to the party, because I think this is like,
people have been talking about this for years at this point.
they've been talking about it for a while, but you know what? Here we are.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, there was like, people are obsessed with Harry Potter, freaking Lord of the Rings, all of these whatever. I never read any of these like series books, so I'm like, okay, I'm hopping on the bandwagon. I want to know what's up.
Yeah, and I'm like wondering if they're gonna make a movie out of it.
I want to see it so bad. I think that it was greenlit for a show at one point, and then it got canceled already, or like stopped. Like, I don't think they actually ever like put anything out. Oh, I need to research more on this. I'm unaware.
I'm like starting to feel like, should we just gatekeep books and keep them books, or like, is it worth making a show out of it? Because there's such
I want so bad. I want to see the costume design. It's such like a fantasy land world that I'm like, I want to see what the creative people come up with.
They do really well nowadays, because I know, like, I just watched Game of Thrones this past year because I'd never seen it, and so I had to at least watch it. Not my favorite series in terms of like the violence. Like, it was so violent. I am not that kind of person.
I think a lot of people were lost after the Red Wedding.
Oh God. Well, yeah. If you haven't seen it, or if you have seen it, like, there's a pretty intense scene, and it involves the opening scene of like a pregnant woman, and I was pregnant with my first child at the time, and Luke was like so excited for this scene because it was such a pivoting moment in the show, but he forgot what the opening part to that scene was, and I literally like jumped off the couch and was like screaming, and Luke was like, I'm so sorry, because usually he's like warning me like, close your eyes, you're not gonna like this part. Yeah, I'm not here for the violence part.
And this is what I'll say too. Game of Thrones turned into what's the spin-off show?
Oh, it's like dragon something.
Yeah, House of Dragons.
House of Dragons, yeah. But
that
the
one also starts
is really good.
Horribly with a pregnant woman.
Oh, okay.
I thought about her for a long time.
Oh,
don't like it.
Yeah, I don't. Once you have kids, like, you're just way more sensitive to anything that has to involve like moms and kids and girls, and
they always pick like just to be extra brutal, like a pregnant woman.
Yeah, and maybe I'm just like a sensitive being too, but I'm like, I think I'm really sensitive actually.
I think I am too.
Yeah. I'm like, I can't look at anything, or like I'm gonna think about it all. Like, the image will not leave my head, and I just will be wrapped up in my thoughts.
But speaking of, though, I did have a dream about Rachel the other night, and I had a dream that she gave birth and it was a boy. And I know you see that. So I'm like, now I'm convinced that it is a boy.
It has to be a boy.
Until now, I thought it was a girl.
It has to be a boy. I'll be shocked if it's not. And the reason too is like, we don't have a girl name picked out, and I know I said Sienna, but I'm off that train, and I don't like the name Sienna anymore. I mean, it's a beautiful name, but not for my daughter, potential daughter. So I spilled the beans on a name that we're not even going to use. So if you like the name, take it, but like,
free for all, you guys. It's free for all.
Luke came up to me, by the way, the other day, and he's like, I heard a rumor about you. And I'm like, what?
Oh my God. I knew when I said this to him, because he was like, ooh, tea. I was like, I don't know if it's tea.
I was like, you know what? I've heard those lines before. You were talking to Olivia. What did she say?
I was like, oh, well, Rachel says that the name Eva is like grown on her. He's like, oh, tea. I was like, well, I mean, you talk it into existence, you know, like maybe it's a thing. And he's like, oh my gosh, like it's done, whatever. And I was like, I maybe made that go a little far.
No, it's fine. It'll be what it'll be, but like, it has to be a boy. So like, it's just not in alignment for it to be a girl.
Well, exactly. I mean, I think a lot of moms would say that, you know, you just don't have a girl name because it's just not a girl, so your mind's not going there. I don't know, you know?
Well, question for you. So like, are you pregnant yet? Like, you want to join me on this train?
Oh my God. Well, you know, wedding first. And that's been loads of freaking fun. Let me tell you.
You've been through a lot, and now we're at a point where I feel like you can talk about it.
Yeah, I need to fill the people in. So there has been, honestly, it feels like chaos surrounding my wedding. But I'll say this too. My other friend who just got finished with her wedding, the way that she described what planning a wedding is like, she's like, it is like planning Fire Festival. And I am like, you know what? Yes. Because you're inviting all of these people to an event, and you honestly just hope, fingers crossed, pray that the event turns out, right?
Yeah.
Like you spend all this time planning, you're envisioning all of these things, and you're literally like, I hope that it's not Fire Festival. I hope I'm not inviting people to a nothing.
Okay, something I never really thought about until you kind of start planning one is just like, how do you go from one part to the next part? Like, how does the flow work? How do people know? Is that like the venue that does that? Is it the wedding planner that does that? You know what I mean? Where it's just like, okay, now everyone goes in and now everyone eats, and like now everyone's gonna get on the dance floor.
Like that's why people have a day of coordinator, or that's why people have like a DJ who's also like the MC.
Okay.
Because like
what's MC?
I don't know what it stands for, but they'll do exactly that though, like what you're saying.
Yeah.
They'll direct people and be like, you know, now everyone turn your attention to the bride and groom are going to, you know, cut the cake, whatever. Or now we invite you all to come join us in the ballroom for whatever. Like I was at a friend's wedding who had the best MC because there was maybe like 3 different locations for like, you know, ceremony and then dinner, and then, you know, we were dancing in the back in where the ceremony had taken place after they'd changed it. And
so it was like seamless, like it just made it seem like it was
whoever was announcing where we all needed to go. I didn't miss a thing. Like there were announcements and I knew what was happening the whole time. I've been in many weddings where I'm like, oh, I missed that part. You know, so you just don't know.
Cut the cake?
No,
What?
literally, I didn't even see that at my sister's wedding. Like her wedding was awesome. It was in 2020, so it was much smaller. I was also giving a speech that day, so I did my best to get tipsy, but because of my nerves, I just couldn't. So I was drinking, but I missed the freaking cutting of the cake. And so don't know where I was, but that is a concern of like, how do you inform people what's happening?
Yeah, I've seen it where it's like really not natural.
What do you mean?
Where it's just like, and now they're gonna cut the cake, and now we are serving food, and now the dance floor is open. Like it's just, it was so like rigid, where it was just like
rigid, dang.
In the end, as long as they are happy, it's fine. But I was just like,
these are those difficult things to coordinate.
There's
and
a lot of things you don't know until day of.
Yeah, and everyone says like, oh, it'll just like run smoothly. I think that's with like, I've seen some brides like sharing like really extensive timelines, because it's like you have to delegate and say who's in charge of this is supposed to happen then, this is supposed to happen then, so that you can fit everything in. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm not even close to that yet, you guys. So I've been engaged since February of last year. It is now April 2025. I've been engaged for a hot minute, and I booked my wedding venue like a year and a half in advance, thinking that was going to make wedding planning easier, right? Like, oh, I'm ahead of the game. I'm on the ball.
That's what you do. You get the venue, because that usually books out. You get your dress, or like you do like the big things.
Pick of like the vendors, and like I don't need to be stressed out. At least the most important things. Because you're exactly right. I went venue, photographer, dress.
Yes. Yeah.
Bada bing, bada boom. We got those down. We're feeling better about it. Plot freaking twist. Like, no matter how much, I mean, obviously this is just what I've learned at this point, that you think you can be prepared. Wedding planning, I don't think anyone can escape it being difficult, to be honest. I think, you know, everyone's going to have their own hiccups, and it's going to be different. I pray that I'm done with, I pray that nothing else can be bigger than this hiccup that happened for me personally. So I've had my wedding venue booked for like an entire year at this point. Back in February, I got a call from one of like my best friends being like, oh my gosh, like I can't book a room. Literally the same time that
this is just a few months ago.
Yeah,
like
that my fiance, that February, that my fiance's sister called him with the same news. And the reason that's a big deal is because this is a destination wedding in Mexico. Not only do people need rooms like at a hotel, it's an all-inclusive resort, and you need flights, and it's pricey because it's all-inclusive and it's in Mexico. So if people couldn't book rooms, it wasn't like, okay, I can get a room block at another hotel or another resort, because all of my events were happening at this resort. And if you've been to all-inclusive resorts before, you know that if you want to just go for the day and not stay there, you have to pay for a day pass in order to use the amenities. So we all thought it had to be a fluke. Like, there's no way this gigantic resort has booked out just the day of my wedding only, other than Christmas, for the entire year, just that one single day, 9 months in advance of when my wedding is. We were like, no, there's literally no way. And people will say to me, why didn't you get a room block? And there's the fun of it too, because I was advised against getting a room block, because in the end, it turns out, yes, the one day that the resort booked out of the entire year was the day of my wedding. So I was in a situation where none of my guests were going to be able to book the resort.
Yeah. Well, I just saw this, but like, here's the other side of that. You could have booked a room block, and you could have booked, like, let's say 20 rooms. I know you guys invited a lot of people. Yeah. The resort still could have booked out outside of that, and now you only have 20 rooms for your guests. Like, it still could have gone not the way you wanted it to.
Because that's the thing too, with being a huge resort and so far in advance, that was all of the advice that I kept being given was, it's a huge resort, like, it's way in advance. If you book a room block, you're on the hook for all of these rooms. You're on the hook for paying for everyone if people don't book your room block. And one of the big warnings, I guess, that people are given with a destination wedding is, oh, you think everyone's going to come, people will surprise you. Even, you know, some of your closest people will surprise you. I'm not at the point yet of knowing to be surprised or not, because I still do have time for people to book my wedding. But I've talked to a lot of brides since then. I'm like, oh, like, you know, were you surprised? Even local brides. And they're like, no, yeah, you're going to be surprised about who comes, who doesn't come.
Yeah.
So especially with the destination, they're like, oh, you think everyone that you invited, right, is going to come. If it's a destination wedding, cut your guest count in half. Even then, you're going to be surprised. So figuring out a room block, I mean, just logistical nightmare.
I can't imagine, because it's like it's one of the days that we put so much pressure on ourselves to have to be perfect. And it's, you know, like, we dream of this moment where it's just like, oh my God, this is our wedding. Like, ideally you do it once, you know, and like, you want to be this beautiful thing. And it's like your one day for it to be like your fairy tale, and it's about you guys. And then when that happens, suddenly you're just like, why, this is supposed to be a great day. Like, why is this so stressful? Like, why is this not working out?
Your vision. Yeah. Like, you know, like, I think that's the biggest thing is you get attached to this certain idea, right? Like, I'd had my venue for months at this point. Like, I'm attached to the certain idea of how the weekend was going to go, because for me and my fiance too, like, you know, you have to prioritize different things. Like, what are you prioritizing? What's the value for, right, how you want your day to be? We, like, love our people, and we want people there. And so to get my world rocked of, you can keep your wedding, none of your guests will be able to attend, was like, what are we even talking about? No, literally, what's the point? Because I even talked to the lady at the resort. And turns out what had happened was some huge corporate event came in and booked all of the rooms. So that was just real lucky, honestly.
I'd be like, give me the number of that CEO so I can go talk to him. No,
literally, like, where's their room block, and I'm going to steal it all.
This is my wedding weekend, and you just booked all the rooms.
I mean,
so like,
I was spiraling. Obviously, like, I was not okay, because I mean, it's just like, this can't be happening, right? Like, I've had my wedding booked. Like, I booked it on purpose in advance to make sure whoever I wanted could come, to make sure, like, I could have the date that I wanted, the time that I wanted. I mean, we were supposed to be getting married on our 4-year dating anniversary. Would have been cute. It's fine. You know what I mean? It just would have been cute, but it's fine.
Yeah, we got our tax return yesterday, because we did our taxes yesterday. And we got a return back, and I was like, cool, now let's book this wedding. There you go. So we can go.
I actually, just before we started recording, my sister just texted me saying, flights booked, like, let's get you married. One of my other friends just sent me her flight earlier this week. I haven't yet got my flight, so now I'm behind for my own wedding.
I wonder if they even have their own flights. I'm like, I'm going to guess no.
I'm going to do it this week.
For some reason, when we were filling out the information, it would not let us book these flights. Like, it just, Luke has to go and talk to his person. I don't know why. Like, we
like
tried
Delta person, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
He tried.
I was like, not my travel agent lady.
No, nothing like that. It was just like, we tried it multiple times, and it, like, kept filling out his name for, like, me, so it wouldn't process, like, the tickets. And we're just like, well, that's really annoying. So I'm like, you just need to go talk to customer service and like get it figured out. But
I hate how complicated like travel and booking things is.
it'll be fine. I think we're doing like Tuesday to Saturday.
Okay.
Because
I'm so excited.
we're not bringing the kids.
You're not?
No.
Okay, well then stay till Sunday because Saturday we're doing catamaran ride.
The Sunday, the only time you can get back is like midnight Sunday.
Yeah.
It's like the flights
got
from
kids.
St. Louis.
You'll
We're
make it
like,
for the wedding. That's what's important.
we're like, might as well leave Tuesday, have all day Tuesday, and then leave Sunday night.
my other friend
or
who just
Saturday
booked is
night.
coming in Tuesday. We're coming in
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
So Tuesday turns
So
out
I think
it's gonna
that's
be a
what we're
shebang.
doing. I think it's Tuesday or it's Wednesday, but I don't know. It's something like that. But it was just like the flights out of St. Louis are so slim picking.
I know.
That it
You
was just
can't
like-
get it there without a layover. So I'm getting married in Puerto Vallarta too. So it's the Pacific coast side of Mexico. It's farther. It's farther than
Yeah.
Cancun. So it's just not as easy to get to, unfortunately. But with all of that being said, obviously you can see I've got people booking now, but nobody really had when all of this went down.
Yeah.
But some people had. And so it was the tough choice of, and you guys, I was beside myself. I couldn't make it through a day without crying about it. But now we're all so much better. But like,
I think people are like getting into gear now because they're like, it's in September.
I
Like we need
hope
to
so.
go and book this. And
yeah. So we had the option of either I can make a room block at a neighboring resort for my guests, or I would have to change the wedding date in order to accommodate being able to invite people to my wedding. And the kind of thing about an all-inclusive resort weekend though is so everyone can hang out the whole weekend, not just show up for the event. Like, yeah, come all the way to Mexico to hang out with us for like 2-3 hours. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, longer than that, but you know. Anyway, so
well, you want to make it like worth the trip, like worthwhile, right? Like you just want people to like be
Worthwhile.
there, enjoy their time, like
and,
have it be a
host the
vacation, a
event,
celebration.
and like we also get part of our package is a welcome dinner the night before our wedding, and so people wouldn't be able to come to that because and then they'd have to pay all the money, travel all the way out there, not stay at the same resort, and then have to leave their all-inclusive resort to pay money to come onto my resort to come to the event.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
So we had to make the very difficult decision to move our wedding date. And so we did. We moved it to September 26th, which is now a Friday instead of a Saturday wedding. But I think that's going to be so great. And my only concern is the reason why it was pushed all the way to October is to do our best to avoid rainy season. It's an outdoor wedding. It will be what it will be. And like, I'm at peace with that at this point. But I just felt so horrible at the time and so bad about all of these changes because I had sent out like save the dates in like June of last year, in June of 2024, just to February of 25 find out that I have to change the date. So I did my best to give people a heads up of like, hey, when you're planning, you know, all your vacations next year, if you want to come, if you want to include our Mexico trip in, you know, next year's travel plans, like here's plenty of a heads up so you can plan out your year. Because I know I would appreciate that. And I cared to be really respectful of people's
course.
time and people's money. And I cared deeply about that. And so that was just something that really rocks me because unfortunately, with changing the date, it is the case where now some people can't come anymore. And it is the case where there's even a couple who has non-refundable everything.
Yeah.
And obviously that's like incredibly upsetting because you send out these save the dates. You want people to be able to like trust you. Like there's an event, like you want to be able to say, go book it. Like I'm hosting this. And then to have to like call them up and try to like re-coordinate and like call all of our guests to say biggest plot twist, like let us help work this out, has been so much to work out because even my photographer, I only finally, after fighting with this third-party travel company for 2 months, have gotten them to give her credit for the cost of like her travel booking with them. It took me over 2 months to get this credit to her. Like,
Good
I have
for you
been
for
having
keeping on fighting, because that's like,
no, I know, she was so surprised. She was like, they told me they weren't gonna do, they're not like no refunds, no cancellations. And I was like, okay, well, I will have to talk to them.
Yeah.
2 months later, I finally got them to agree to give her credit, thank God. But I still don't have my photographer rebooked, and I still, like, I have other like one other like couple of friends that I know that they were able to get flight credit back, but they weren't able to get a refund. It's not the worst, but it's obviously not convenient.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody else, we were able to move all of their bookings, thank God. But it's really just that one couple who was the kindest in the world to me about it, because they're also getting married in September. So they were like, look, you moved your wedding to September, to be honest. Like, we're not going to make it work. And I don't blame them at all. But so she was so sweet. She was like, look, we're probably just going to go to Mexico because we can't get our money back. And you guys just aren't going to be there.
It's not, it's, you know, it's just like, and that's how you know you have the right people around you for your wedding, because with a situation like that, it's like, okay, it is what it is. We're going to make the most of it. Love you guys. Like, love you. We love you to death. You've got a good group of people around you. People can be very understanding, as we're seeing. So much of this was out of your control, which is not your fault, and I would be putting so much pressure on myself too, and I would feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make light of the situation for you, where it's just like, thank God it happened with people that understand and stuff.
And thank God there still is time till the wedding.
Yeah.
But I think that that's the biggest thing, is like, I obviously worry that they're like understanding to me, but that people are having like different thoughts or conversations, obviously, when I'm not around about it. Like,
and
it
I'm
feels
on the outside too, so that's why I feel like I'm just like, it's gonna work out, because on the outside it's just like, we're not in the thick of planning something for so many people, right? So it's like, so the pressure is not on us,
dude. I guess, but it feels embarrassing. Like, it feels embarrassing. Like, I feel like I got like screwed over by being given the wrong advice to not get a room block, like in front of all of my friends and family. And that's just like what makes it seem like an event where you want to like look like you've got it together, and like, you know, like you can plan this amazing thing and host this amazing event and like have a dream day. I don't want to say it feels tainted, because like I do feel a much better place at this point, but for a while, like the thought of even just like thinking about my wedding had me just like so upset.
Yeah. No, I know. It is upsetting. Like, it's, again, like, it's like your day. You put so much pressure on it. It's like supposed to be your fairy tale for the, like, it's a beautiful moment. And thankfully, though, you have people around you that are understanding. And I think
I'm so blessed. Like, truly,
the more I think about it, the more I'm like, a room block could have screwed you over even more.
You saying that is like bringing me beyond peace right now, because for the longest time I'm like kicking myself, like, if only I would have just at least had 20 rooms or at least had this or that. But you know what, you're right, like the switcheroo, as much as it like sucks, and it's like what nobody wants to pause everything in wedding planning. Like, truly, I feel like I like paused my life. Like, I stopped planning things because I was like trying to clean up this mess of, I have to shift everybody, everything, anyone's bookings that they had, any like vendors that I had set up to a different date, and like resend out, you know, save the dates and stuff.
You had the least amount of people at that time that had booked things.
Yes. Which was my problem, but also my saving grace.
Yeah, because it's just like, at this point now, it's like, it's on your guests if they're going to book in time and get a room. Whereas before, it's like, you could have had all these guests trying to book. You had your room block that filled out. Now the worst, or it's still booked out because of this event. It could have been a worse nightmare. And then you're like, then people really can't go. And
then maybe we would have ended up splitting to a different resort, which, as I explained, just would have sucked and not been the vision. So I'm just like, I so believe, you know, things happen either for a reason or things happen and we give them a reason. Either way, I slightly hope that a hurricane hits like the side of Mexico in October, so that I can be like, that's why I couldn't have my outdoor wedding. But everyone, fingers crossed that I get beautiful weather in September. Who knows? Only trying to get positive mojo there. But it's just like, I feel so much better now on the other side of things. And honestly, hearing that I could have been even screwed over with a room block does make me feel better, because it makes me feel less like I screwed up and screwed everybody over. And I know like in hindsight, like I know like logically it's not my fault and not within my control, but it did feel so deeply like I was letting everyone down.
I know.
But with all of that being said, wedding is moved. People have started to book, or people won't book, and now we'll get to see who's truly like gonna come through, and it'll be that much more special.
Do you have like a few reminders going out of being like, hey, like don't forget to book, or like I don't know how that works?
I don't know, but I mean, it's a good idea. I mean, I just sent like, you know, that new one like a week ago or something. I feel like, yeah, maybe I'll send out like another reminder like next week or something, because I've tried to. Now I'm working with a travel agent. Now I do have a secured room block, you guys, for the new date. But you know what? At this point, I'm excited again. Thank God.
Good.
Because for a while I wasn't. You know, for a while I wasn't excited, and I wasn't looking forward to this anymore.
It's emotional. As we get closer, it's gonna, and like as people start RSVPing and booking things, you're gonna, I think, feel a lot more relief and just be like, oh my God, okay, this is happening.
Like I've got my vision back. Like I'm attached to like the new idea of September.
Because when things were happening, it's also like, I don't want to say it's too far out, but it was just far enough out where it's like you don't know how it's going to affect everyone yet. And some people probably didn't even have it like on their radar just quite yet.
So many people didn't, and I'm like thankful for that. But at the same time, some people really did. And that obviously really just was rough, because like I really care to be respectful of people's time and money.
I don't think people question that. Like, we know you to your core. Like, you are not that person trying to screw people over.
Thanks.
You want everyone to enjoy their time. And
I think some people are, I don't know, but like if it's anybody's like perception that I took this any bit lightly, like was not the case. Like I think I cried for like three weeks straight, because I was like, oh my God, like I'm not even having a wedding anymore.
No, people, you know what I mean? People know better. And if you don't, well, get your head on straight, people. Come on.
It was really, really tough. And I'm hoping like at least, maybe this is like my new perspective about wedding planning, which at the same time I can say that I'm like grateful to have from this experience. You know, we'll give it a positive spin, as much as I don't wish that on anyone else. But that like now it's so clear, like the priorities for wedding day. Like people always say like things are gonna go wrong. Well, for me, like whatever can go wrong,
it won't top this.
It's just if my people can be invited and we have a party where people are there,
girl, you're gonna have tequila and you're gonna have your friends and family. Yeah, and that's what you need.
Exactly. So I'm really excited, and
the people will bring the party.